Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening everyone, and let's go straight to breaking news where 2 people have been killed in a multi-vehicle crash on the Bowen Bridge. For more, we're joined by reporter Rebecca Gaetoneris, who's at the scene. And Beck, what has happened?
It's a devastating start to a busy weekend as school holidays begin. Police say a truck rear-ended a silver hatchback on the bridge just before 4 this afternoon, causing a multi-car collision involving 2 other vehicles. 2 occupants of the hatchback in their 80s died as a result. A 3rd person inside the same vehicle has been seriously injured and taken to the Royal Hobart Hospital. Several others have also been taken to the hospital for observation.
It's an incident that affects not just the families but communities. We're asking anyone to come forward with any information, or particularly any dash cam footage that they may have. Please pass it on to police.
The Bowen Bridge remains closed as crews work to clear the scene. Motorists are being advised to take extra care around the road. Kim?
Well, investigations are continuing into a bus fire which claimed the life of a woman living rough in Launceston this morning. At this stage, police haven't ruled out if the fire is suspicious.
A bus converted to a motorhome parked on private property in Vermont Road, Mowbray, erupts in flames just before 9 a.m. The fire brigade quickly on the scene after receiving multiple 000 calls.
When crews arrived, they found the converted motorhome fully ablaze with flames extending out of all windows and openings, along with thick, billowing black smoke.
Crews took 30 minutes to quell the fire due to the intensity of the blaze. Once firemen had doused the flames, they discovered the body of a woman inside the bus, believed to be in her 60s.
So there's 2 people that we knew were living in the bus. One of those people is accounted for. The other person, which is female, is not accounted for.
It's understood the woman's male partner, also in his 60s, had left for work prior to the fire breaking out. An anonymous source telling 7 Tasmania News there was no power connected to the bus, but fire officials were remaining tight-lipped about the likely cause of the blaze.
We deal with facts and they're ongoing, and that's with the fire investigators at the moment. I have not attended the scene.
Sources also said the couple regularly had a wood fire on a deck just outside the bus.
Tasmania Police will be preparing a report for the coroner once we've confirmed the identity of the deceased, and our thoughts go to the members of the community who may know this person and immediate family members and friends. Very, very tragic incident.
Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
The Ladies' Lounge at Mona could soon make an epic return after the museum won its legal battle to keep men out of the space. The Supreme Court ordering a tribunal to reconsider its original decision that the exclusive space was discriminatory.
Courts out for Keisha Keschler and the Mona ladies.
It's a day of triumph for us. We're very excited. We're very excited.
The Ladies' Lounge at the Museum of Old and New Art given a new lifeline. The Supreme Court quashing the Tasmanian Civil and Administrative Tribunal's original ruling that the lounge was discriminatory.
In 30 seconds, the patriarchy was smashed. And the verdict demonstrates a simple truth. Women are better than men.
The case launched with the Tascat after New South Wales man Jason Lau was denied entry to the lounge in April.
It's beautiful to exercise these arguments, and I think this was a really important one to look into.
Now been sent back to the tribunal for reconsideration after Justice Marshall ruled the lounge as an exclusive space to create a flipped universe, giving men a taste of discrimination, saying the Ladies' Lounge can be seen as an arrangement to promote equal opportunity by highlighting the lack of equal opportunity.
The court took a broader look at what the purpose of the Ladies' Lounge was, but it also appreciated that the disadvantage that the Ladies' Lounge was directed at wasn't just historical, which was critical to the tribunal's foundings.
Keisha unfazed by what happens next.
We'll see if the men appeal. They don't appeal to me.
In the meantime, the ladies will continue to put their feet down. Rebecca Gaetoneris at 7 Tasmania News.
Some of us are being forced to pick a side tomorrow as grand final fever sweeps Tasmania. Superstar Katy Perry has picked hers and it's got the whole AFL world talking.
Having never seen an AFL match, pre-game performer Katy Perry could be considered impartial when it comes to tomorrow's decider, and she's staying that way.
Barracking for the new Tasmanian team that's coming in next year.
She would back the Tassie Devils. Why wouldn't she want to? And she picked the right team.
There are a few Tassie connections tomorrow. Swan Robbie Fox, umpire Nick Foote and Lions coach Chris Fagan.
Chris is a fantastic coach. I won't say great coach because he hasn't won a flag yet, but because of how good he is, relationships, his players love him. He puts that much confidence in his players.
Fagan actually taught Tassie FC director Kath McCann in grade 6.
He had a massive influence on me as a student, as a young person.
At South Launceston's annual grand final luncheon, there were some former greats on hand to cast their opinions.
But if you think the oxygen hasn't been taken out of the city of Melbourne by no Victorian sides playing in it, you're deluding yourself.
But that just means an allegiance switch for the big day, which also means a roaring trade at balls and bumpers, needing an emergency delivery of scarves and Guernseys today.
We've been very busy this week, yes. If their team's not in it, they've just gone out and picked one.
In a different universe, we might not have had to pick. Back in 1995, Tasmania made a pitch to bring the Fitzroy Lions here.
We're serious. We are contenders for an AFL licence.
They would, of course, go to Brisbane instead.
It's been a long and hard-fought, journey to the licence, and as we've seen in the last 12 months, I think it'd be fair to say that our time has come. The response has been extraordinary.
And while Katy Perry's mind is made up,
the Devils they are.
There's far from consensus.
The Sydney Swans.
See the Lions win.
The Swans will win convincingly.
Everybody's telling me to go for Brisbane, but I don't know.
Sydney's going to win.
If you're still undecided, the miniature Highland cows at Richmond's Zoodoo Zoo can help. After a brief sniff of the Lions, they're unanimous for a Sydney win. Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, budget estimates have wrapped up with Aboriginal Affairs Minister Roger Yench facing questioning over changes to the Aboriginal Cultural Zone in the Macquarie Point Stadium precinct.
There's been a loss of 3,000 square metres and there's also been a loss of a commitment to delivering a Truth and Reconciliation Park.
That is not a project that we manage. We have provided support and advice to the Macquarie Point development body.
Mr Yench is the last Liberal minister to front the committee, with Parliament set to return next month. School's out for the spring holidays, with tourism operators bracing for an influx of tourists over the next 2 weeks. Thousands are expected to touch down, while for those staying closer to home, cheap petrol prices are making it an ideal time to hit the road.
The calm before the travel storm. 61,000 passengers are set to pass through Launceston Airport these holidays, marking the start of a seasonal boom.
Looking forward to a bumper school holiday period and to another record year for Launceston Airport.
Direct flights to Perth and Adelaide are almost back on the schedule, bringing plane loads of sector confidence.
The north of the state is in good shape. The economy is in good shape. We're getting great tourism numbers coming in.
To avoid any holiday hiccups this break, travellers are urged to arrive with plenty of time to spare.
Travel in a relaxed manner. Arrive an hour and a half before departure.
For those not jetting off for a spring getaway, there's some hip pocket relief at the Bowser. Petrol prices have hit a 2-year low thanks to global market changes.
The demand's dropped. On top of that, the Australian dollar is strengthening. So all these common things combine to a lower fuel price, which is great for Tasmanians.
Drivers encouraged to fill up while it lasts.
The average fuel price in Tasmania is around $1.74 a litre. So yeah, do shop around. So some retailers are a bit below that.
And prepare for the holiday road rush.
Over the weekend, you're going to have people travelling to more remote locations. So just be mindful of the additional traffic to plan ahead.
Timely tips to enjoy the great escape. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
A popular zoo in Tasmania is set for a makeover. Upgrades, new enclosures and more visitor experiences on offer as the new zoo owner turns his childhood dream into reality.
Since the age of 8, Stuart has had a lifelong dream of owning a zoo.
And something happens when I go to a zoo that I feel safe, I'm happy, and it's like just heaven, absolutely heaven.
5 weeks ago, he turned his dream into a reality when he purchased Zoodoo Zoo. Sitting on 375 acres, the park attracts more than 70,000 visitors every year. For Stuart, it's a passion he's willing to invest in, pouring $5 million into the wildlife sanctuary over the next 5 years.
I'm building accommodation on site where you're going to sleep in this gorgeous hut and you're going to look out on lions.
Over the next couple of years, enclosures like this one are going to be demolished and replaced, making for some very happy animals.
Enrichment is a big part of their day, and being able to just let them be themselves, let them experience these natural enclosures, experience their natural behaviours, it's fantastic that we actually get to do that for them here.
Upgrades already in the works. This patch of dirt will be a walk-through bird aviary. And there's plans for a major revamp of the Tassie Devil enclosure.
It'll be a world-class exhibit. Best practice, best keeper design, it'll be amazing.
The current animals already proving popular with the crowds.
The lions are pretty cool, I reckon.
Ponies.
I like the Highland cows.
I like the Highland cows.
With a big pledge from the boss.
In 5 years' time, you'll come here and you'll hear people from all over the world talking about how good Zoodoo Zoo is. I promise you that.
Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
An annual exhibition celebrating the relationship between art and mental health opens tonight at the QV Mag in Launceston. Minds Do Matter is designed to help people open up about their own experiences ahead of Mental Health Week next month.
Encouraging us all to appreciate the little things. Minds Do Matter features a range of works which explores the relationship between mental health and art. More than 220 artists have contributed to the exhibition, including Emily Rose Wills, who has been painting since high school.
The enjoyment in the art process is kind of in the therapy of it, I suppose, and the benefit that it gives to one's mental health. So my mark making is quite intuitive, and it kind of reflects on what's happening internally, and that in a way is quite mindful and therapeutic.
Now the Arts and Culture Officer at Georgetown Council, Emily Rose says art gives her life daily structure.
I tend to paint for at least 2 hours a day, and having that routine and that structure offers some really good stabilising factors too.
The exhibition is being held in collaboration with Rant Arts.
For 15 years, this exhibition has been driving important conversations across the state about mental wellbeing, and it's really a platform and a way to showcase lived experiences, personal stories, you know, those messages of hope.
Mental health affects everybody, whether you have bad mental health or good mental health.
Minds Do Matter runs until December. Melinda Ogden, 7 Tasmania News.
The very best in the video gaming industry have an opportunity to showcase their talent with the inaugural expo Level Up Tasmania getting underway in Hobart. The event focusing on celebrating Tasmanian-made video games and game developers and putting our state on the world stage.
We have a lot of really impactful games being made here that are actually doing really well, both nationally and internationally. And we're punching well above our weight, as with many things in Tasmania.
It's just another great example of how Tasmania is taking itself to the world in new and dynamic ways.
The free event will be held at PW1 until Sunday.
Tasmanian basketballer Lockie Barker was training in Melbourne when he got the call back to the Jackie squad to replace the injured Sean McDonald, who's out of a moon boot but still not clear to play.
Obviously it's a big loss having Shawnee Mack out, and I'm not here to replace Shawnee Mack. I'm here to fill a bit of the void, but that's all of us. We've got to chip in to help his load. He's a big part of this team.
Every training session this week's been important as they look to bounce back from their round 1 loss to Melbourne United.
I feel all right. Body feels good. Still beginning of the year, so still getting that rhythm and feel for the team. Got some new faces, new guys.
Despite it, concussion concerns, Will Magnay is expected to take to the court when they play Melbourne again tomorrow at MyState Bank Arena. Back in the pool after Paris, Hobart's Max Giuliani has claimed second in a blisteringly fast 200-metre freestyle final at the Australian Short Course Championships in Adelaide, finishing just behind Brisbane's Ed Somerville as he beat Cameron McAvoy's Australian record.
Good evening. Hobart 17 today, a degree warmer in Launceston and Burnie 18, Devonport 15. A surprisingly warm day in Laiweni today, 17 also at Ouse. 16 recorded at Friendly Beaches. We saw 15 at Luncheon Hill, Low Head, Grove and St Helens, King Island and Maria Island both 14, with 13 observed at Flinders Island and at Strawn. Mostly cloudy conditions were seen about western parts of the state today, with sunny skies experienced elsewhere. Storms passed over eastern and southern parts of WA, as well as Darwin and southeastern Queensland. Tomorrow, a high will move to the east of Tasmania, extending a ridge over most of eastern Australia. Northeast to northwesterly winds 10 to 20 knots, increasing up to 30 knots in the east and west, with westerly swells peaking up to 3 metres. A strong wind warning has been issued for coastal waters between east of Flinders Island around to Stanley. Perfect conditions towards the south for the AFL Grand Final tomorrow. Hobart and Maydena 21, 19 for Oatlands. 19, a partly cloudy also in Launceston. A bit of cloud for Devonport 16. Another fine day ahead for Laiweni 14 to the top. 16, a partly cloudy for Burnie. A mostly sunny day in Strawn 19 and much the same in Marrawar with 17 there. Perfect conditions for the East Coast. St Helens 19, Swansea and Alford both 21. Despite a few post-footy headaches, we can expect showers about the west on Sunday, extending to remaining districts before easing and contracting to the west in the evening. Monday, showers about the west with light showers extending elsewhere throughout the day. Swansea, the place to be, plenty of sunshine with temps reaching the early 20s. Tuesday, showers about the west, south and Bass Strait Islands. Snow will fall to around 800 metres in the south, with hail also likely, but fine elsewhere. A fine and sunny 22 degrees to kick off the AFL Grand Final in Melbourne tomorrow. 20 and rain forecast for Lions fans in Brisbane. A shower or two won't dampen spirits, I'm sure, for the Swan supporters in Sydney tomorrow. Partly cloudy in Hobart, 12 degrees, clear in Launceston with 10, and partly cloudy in Devonport with 11. Excitement is building for the big game tomorrow, Kim, but I'm with Nick Kelly and I'm going to have to go against Murph's Sydney Swans tomorrow.
Oh, you're a brave girl, Kaya. I'm just going to sit on the fence. May the best team win. And that wraps up your Grand Final Eve news. Whatever your plans are, have a great and safe weekend. Thanks for joining us. Good night.